speaking of sprinting, there was a sprint for second and third place in that men's wheelchair race, with David Weir taking second place by 1 second from the South African Ernst van Dijk. But they were over 3 minutes back, roughly 3 minutes back from Romanchuk, the eventual winner.
Wow.
May see the same in the women's race, looks like.
Yeah. Dominant stuff.
Well, and sometimes when you get a breakaway leader like that, then the second pack is just kind of doing more of a tactical race amongst themselves. So sometimes that gap will get a little bit greater than what it would be otherwise. But great performances by Weir in second place.
What do you think Char's going for now? She's dominated so much. Do you think she's going for what is she? What's next for her?
Interesting is she doesn't have mirrors. She can't see what's going on behind her, but she's kind of locked into this zone of self-focus, tunnel vision. She's just got to push as hard as she can. I mean, I presume she hasn't looked back for a while. I haven't seen her look back. It involves quite an awkward movement when you're in that chair.
And as you touch on that point, thinking about Daniel Romanchuk, Manuela, and Bridget, I mean, to be such a phenomenal, dominant athlete that you're really just racing against yourself.
Yeah.
That's phenomenal.
Absolutely. Well, of course, the top Americans will be going for those Paralympic team places in this women's wheelchair race, as they were in the men's race. We'll obviously bring you those results when we can, but Shah here, I'm a little surprised that she's broken away and built up this 2-minute cushion behind her, because I thought maybe Tatiana would be more competitive.
Yes, all indications were that Tatiana had kind of figured things out to close the gap. But again, I think once you're able to make that gap, and if someone doesn't go with them, then I think sometimes the competitors in that pack start worrying about each other, and they let the leader go ahead, particularly when they've known that Manuela Schär had just been on such a tear for so long. Here she's making her turn on Roosevelt now, I believe. Little last bit of uphill that she'll have to work, get over that top, and then she'll be making that left turn to come on down into our finish line.
But you know what's so impressive with both she and Romanchuk 10 minutes or so ago is there's no faltering on this upslope. The power is still there, driving really hard up the hill. And it shows how well they've judged their effort. There's no hint of really struggling there, and I have seen that in races before from wheelchair racers on upslopes. This is mighty impressive, and again, dominant. And actually, there's something special about that isolation as you come down the home straight away and head for a very comfortable victory. It underlines your dominance. So it's about, 280 yards, I think, from this final turn down onto the home straight, and she will see the finish line as she takes this corner left turn onto South Columbus Drive. And there'll be a lovely sense of deja vu for Manuela Schär of Switzerland, 34 years old, pushing and performing as well as she was 12 months ago, as she has done over the last 12 months. She has been the standout, totally dominant performer for the last year. Crowned World Marathon Majors champion for Series 12 a couple of days ago, where she kicks off Series 13 in superb style. Nobody else in sight behind her. Looks a little bit just like we saw 10 minutes ago with Romanchuk. You want to crown them now? It's probably unfair on their competitors, but boy, oh boy.
And we thought there'd be more of a race here, and clearly she has pulled it, shown, and maybe she kind of felt that too. Maybe she felt that people were looking at Tatiana a little bit differently now, that she'd had some chance to kind of come back from her injury. I think she's put all those thoughts to rest anymore.
Yeah, I think this was a flex on her part.
Yeah, maybe so.
She went, no, Tatiana, not quite.
Right.
She finished second to Tatiana, 4 or 5 times here at Chicago in the past. She was patient. She worked on her game. She's come back stronger than ever. She won last year, and then she flexed today and said, I am here to stay for a while.
Speaking of flexing, let's check in with Alex Maragos, who has the flexor in chief, and Daniel Romanchuk, our champion, second year running with wheelchair men. Alex.
Yeah, he just can't lose here in Chicago, can he? Daniel Romanchuk, congratulations on your second straight Chicago Marathon win. How was it out there today?
Thank you. It's a nice day, nice and dry, a little cool, but that's altogether a great morning.
You burst onto the scene here last year, winning in your first effort in Chicago. You have went on to win New York City, Tokyo. You have had an amazing run here. What has it been like this last year?
This last year has just been, it's really hard to describe. First of all, thank God for the opportunities that I've had, and to family and friends and my sponsors, Top End, AIS Construction, and just for all of the support that they've provided over the year.
And with today's effort, a spot on Team USA, how does that feel?
It is
pretty amazing.
It's again one of those things that's just like it's gonna take a while to sink in. Just glory and honor to God. I mean, it's really
a pretty nice way to start 21, huh? You just turned 21.
Yep.
Amazing. Congratulations again, Daniel. Thanks for coming back to Chicago. It's a thrill to watch you race.
Thank you.
All right, guys, back to you. Daniel Romanchuk, you can't lose.
Thanks, Alex. I love his humility. He hadn't even taken in that he's going to go to the Olympics. It's almost like it was overwhelming for him to think about it. It's like, you were going, bud. I mean, there's probably no doubt that you were going.
I love that, just that he was emotionally moved by the opportunity to represent his country. Forget about the fact that he's won, 4 or 5 World Marathon majors. He was brought nearly to tears there with the thought of being in the Olympics.
Absolutely. That is a beautiful thing. And then here we see Tatiana. She's making her way to Roosevelt, that final hill. It looks like she may be going to Tokyo as well. She would be the first American to cross, and that is one of the. And this is the Paralympic trial, so this would be her ticket right here. Again, hitting that hill. Look at that power.
But she has got company. We saw somebody just a couple of yards behind her.
Yeah,
there we go.
Oh, there we are. Oh, wow, we may have her. That's it.
Amanda.
It's McGrory. That's McGrory.
Amanda McGrory.
It's Scaroni's close by. This could be a race for this ticket.
But Scaroni is there. I think there's a third.
I think you're right,
there as
Tim.
well. We saw her just now.
Well, 52-54 is McGrory. Amanda McGrory just taking the lead from McFadden right there, making the final turn.
There they go. This could be a sprint. You got it, Tim.
Well, this is a fabulous little domestic dust-up. The pride of Tatiana McFadden, who has won this race again and again. Ooh. And against McGrory. And there is contact there down the home straightaway for this women's race, second place. But it is McFadden, I think, who comes out on top and eases towards the line. The power is still there. She may not be champion this time, but there are good more years to come for McFadden there. McGrory almost caught on the line there by Scaroni of the USA, and that was really, really tight for a Paralympic team spot.
It was. That second spot, perhaps. Yeah, that could have been a photo finish on that one. But Tatiana fought to make sure she made her way in there. What do you think about that? Was that a push? Was that
No, I think what happened is there's a little paved spot right there where they hit a bump, and I don't know that was a push. I think we just saw that her hand leave the wheel there momentarily for a second, but they were definitely digging down for that second spot.
And you're right, that second spot, that might have been a photo finish. Scaroni came up from behind. I don't even know if McGrory saw her there, felt her there.
It looked like McGrory was over at the first spot of the line, and Scaroni may have got her by the second part, but I think they will mark that first part of the line as the actual finish line. So we'll have to go back and check that. Scaroni certainly came on strong.
Well, Scaroni has been training with Manuela Schär in Switzerland, so she has obviously had some of that great form rubbed off on her. So although she does hold the American best in all conditions, 1:30.42.
We bumped right into each other.
Oh, we're talking about the bump there.
Where's my family? Right back here. Oh, great. Let's get a picture before we...
And check out the men. We have a distinct pack of 5 now.
We do. Chumba has dropped back over the last few minutes. There's been very, very little change over these last 20 minutes, apart from Chumba struggling. And he looked the most up for it, didn't he, Ed? Through the first 10 miles or so. I mean, Chumba was certainly there pushing the pace. He was up behind the pacemakers, almost it looked like he was chomping at the bit, but now we are down to 5. And Karaoke there, who is the quickest of all these fellas at the half marathon. And Bidan Karaoke is a 58:43, I think it is his best half marathon. He has the best track credentials of all of them, 26:52 for 10,000 meters on the track a couple of years ago, and actually really good recent form with that win in Buenos Aires back in late August in 59:05 for the half. So Karaoke here looking great, I have to say.
Yeah, Karaoke coming into this thing, the fact that he ran so fast down in Argentina, 59:05, and the fact that he has great track speed, boy, I would like to be away from him right now. I'm wondering, Todd, you're right down there in the midst of them right now. Who's looking the best to you right now? Karaoke has a great finishing speed, but what can you tell us?
I mean, Karaoke looks really great. He's really comfortable. When the pace setter dropped, he took the lead. No problems at all. Just shoulders are low, facial expression's great. He handled the water stations well. But, with the other four, DeBella looks super strong. He hasn't touched the lead. He's just looking around all the time, so he's relaxed. And then, of course, you got the Boston Marathon champ, Chirono, that's just kind of biding his time. And maybe, come down that last couple miles, we'll see. But it's definitely down to the pack of 5. Looking about last projected time was right at about 2:05.
And Chirono's still in there. The fact that they're packed together. Are we talking tactics here too? The Pacers are no longer in it. Are they all trying to figure out how to run their best race?
Well, that is a danger, of course, in this sort of situation. I say danger. May affect the eventual finish time being optimally fast. But actually, if it's a cat and mouse game for these next 20 minutes, 25 minutes, so be it. We want to see great strategy and tactical racing. Very, very different to Bridget Kosgei, who has just gone through 30K in 1:35:18. She's on 2:14 schedule still, and it's looking more and more likely that Paula Radcliffe's world record holder status is living on borrowed time.
Wow. That's big talk right there. I know we talked a little bit about her coming out too strong, so we'll see how that all plays out. This is when it gets super, super exciting. Do not go anywhere. Lots to keep track of with the 42nd running of the Bank of America Chicago Marathon. Stay with us.
The Bank of America Chicago Marathon last year had $378 million of economic impact to the city of Chicago. And if you think about that number for a second, that's people spending money on hotels and restaurants and shopping and all the things that Chicago has to offer for tourists and people that come and visit. And what was great about that was a record last year, and we looked at what that came from. Over 30% of our runners now are international runners coming to the city, many of cases for the first time, getting a chance to see our city, bringing their friends, bringing their family members, coming and spending 4 or 5 days in the city and really, really getting a chance to celebrate the great city of Chicago. And then you have over 11,000 of our 45,000 runners that are running for charity. Those 11,000 runners last year generated over $22.7 million of charitable funding. And so you think about that $22 million, it helps local charitable organizations, national and international organizations really fulfill some incredibly worthwhile causes. And when you look at the impact of charity in the state of Illinois, for example, it's the single largest charitable event in the state in any given time in the year. And we continue to break records on top of records. In fact, since the charity program started in 2002, we've generated over $209 million of charitable impact. And some of these charities, it is a critical part of how they run their organization and give back to the community in the way they do. So I was a runner for 8 years, got a chance to run with my wife, run with my son, break my own personal record. More recently, I've been a spectator, I've been a volunteer. I've had a chance to really absorb all the aspects of what Chicago has to offer through Bank of America Chicago Marathon.
Welcome back to the 2019 Bank of America Chicago Marathon. And we are very fortunate right now to have our female wheelchair winner, Manuela Schar. Congratulations to you. You are a full 30 seconds faster than last year. How do you feel?
Oh, I didn't know that. It feels great. It's so great to be back here. The crowd is just amazing out there, and it turned out to be a really nice day, so I'm so happy.
I know you said that you thought it was going to be a little colder today, so how was the course weather-wise and the conditions?
I'm so glad it wasn't as cold as yesterday morning was just freezing, and I think more windy than it was today, so it was not too bad, and just the last part into the headwind was really, really tough.
Were you thinking you were going to repeat this year?
I came in with, I knew it was going to be a different race than it was in Berlin 2 weeks ago, because it was the trials for the Americans for Tokyo next year. So I expected it to be a tactical race, which it was the first part. I just tried to do my thing and to keep the pace high, and finally after halfway I was able to pull away, and then I knew it's going to be a good race. Yeah.
All right, so I've got to read this because I thought this was very impressive. In Boston in 2017, you were crowned the fastest female wheelchair athlete in history. They're calling you nearly invincible since 2017. What has changed? Because in Chicago, you were always number 2 until last year when you took away that win.
Yeah, Chicago was always a tough one for me, especially that last hill towards the finish always got me. There's nothing much that has changed. I just kept up training hard and working hard, and it seems to finally pay off, and that's the key, I think. And it's been an incredible 2 years, especially the last 12 months was just perfect and amazing.
It really has. Congratulations to you. I say that you look no worse for the wear. You look amazing, so congratulations to you.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
All right, back to you guys.
She does. She looks like nothing just happened. But she is our champion once again, Manuela Schar from Switzerland. It's great to see. I'd like to hear, because it was a great question by Zoraida asking, what's the difference? Because for so long she was number 2, and she just said consistency, training, just working hard. Yeah, that's something to be said for that.
It's the same for all athletes, whatever their status. You know, if you can just put together several years of consistent hard training without the injuries, it's the injuries that can cripple careers. You know, it really does hold you back. It interrupts your progression. But if you can maintain those great progression of training winter after winter, you will see that improvement in performance.
And she certainly has shown that. Now we are looking at another phenomenal athlete in Bridget Koskei, who's been so dominant over the last year and really seems almost invincible right now as well.
Well, she went out fast, but she was past 30K in 1:35.18. She's 10 minutes beyond that right now, and at that time she was at 2:14 flat pace. So I think she's done a great job of just ratcheting it back, getting in on world record pace, and just maintaining that, almost like a metronome behind those 2 pace setters that are out in front. The pace setters went out a little hot the first 5K, but they've now dialed it back in, and she is just looking so great on world record pace at this point.
And that's going to be exciting to see if she can break Paula Radcliffe's record. That is what we're looking at from Bridget Koskei. All right, before we get too deep and close to the finish with our elite runners, we want to check in with Jen DeSalvo, who's in Chinatown, who is around about, mile 20 or so, herself a marathoner, an ultra marathoner. What's going on there, Jen?
Well, it's mile 22, and this is the part of the race where all of that pasta you ate last night, that's gone. That's out the window. Your body is really hurting. And there's plenty of organizations out here on the Bank of America Chicago Marathon course. It's what makes it so great. So many people coming out to help support the runners. And one of those organizations is BioFreeze. I spoke with Amanda Shuda. She's the Director of Partnerships for BioFreeze. And this is what she had to say about mile 22. I'm feeling a tightness in my calf, and I need BioFreeze in the middle of the race. What happens here?
So you'll come on into our zone, you'll find one of our trained brand ambassadors. He or she will spray it wherever you have issues, just indicate where. You'll find that fast-acting relief. You'll cool the pain and you'll get back to your race.
Thank you.
So it helps with pain relief, muscle pain, aches, soreness, really anything. It kind of helps with delayed onset muscle soreness, really anything that could happen in the middle of the marathon that you need help with.
What's the importance of being at mile 22?
Typically that's where the quote-unquote wall happens, so we wanted to position ourselves in the most optimal spot when runners truly need it the most. So we're right here, right when they need it. We have had people come up and say anything from calves to shoulders to back to literally spray all over my body. We've heard it all.
Every single living.
And besides relieving the pain, there's also places out here that the runners can get nutrition. There's bananas at mile 19, another banana stand right before where we're at here in Chinatown, but there's gel, there's sports drink, and there's all sorts of organizations out here assisting the runners through the 26 miles. Now, Marion did say, I've run this before, so I know how much people are needed out here. If you're looking to come out and support the marathon runners, there's still hours left of them coming past mile 22 in Chinatown. And I'm Jen DeSalvo live at Cermak and Wentworth in Chinatown, NBC5 News. Marion?
All right, thanks so much, Jen. You're right. Come on out, it's not too late. The elites, though, we are getting close to seeing. We're going to be close to the end here pretty soon. We've got this same pack, however, of 5 guys. They're really holding on. Could somebody break out? Does anybody have, you talked about the track guy, Karaka. He's the kind of guy who could break out to try to get away from this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little surprised that Kuroki was pushing so hard over this last 10 or 15 minutes, because I'd have thought he might want to sit in the back of this pack and let the others do the work, because he has got track speed. Track speed at the end of a marathon is very, very little relevance, actually. We can overemphasize it sometimes, but they are still running very hard, and they're still on schedule for around 2:05:15, something like that. 35K, 1:43:53, Ed. So they haven't let up much in that men's race, and neither has this lady. Boy,
she really hasn't. All right, guys, hold it right there. We're going to take it to break, but when we come back, we will follow all the way through till we have a men's champion for the 42nd running of the Bank of America Chicago Marathon. I'm right back.
Here in the Lakeview neighborhood, where the theme is Diva. I don't know if you can see, but we've got Cher here. We have Lady Gaga, Britney Spears, the gangs all here along mile 8 of the course. Can I interview you and find out why you're out here? What's your name?
Kaylee.
Kaylee. Now, you're out here. We've got these runners. We have our own soundtrack. We have our dance moves.
Yes.
Can you describe the vibe out here?
Oh my God, it is so cool. It's so energetic, and everyone is just coming out and supporting this amazing event, and the whole city comes together. It's very, very cool.
Do you live here in the Lakeview neighborhood?
Yep, I live on Belmont and Sheridan, and we all come together. It's awesome.
Is it a tradition every marathon Sunday for you and your friends to bundle up as the weather may be and come out here?
Absolutely. We start with coffee, and then we move to the Bloody Marys, and we support everyone, and the vibe is just very cool.
Well, it's great to have the music out here, kind of dance and stay warm. Are you looking for any specific runner, or?
So we track a few of our friends and we cheer for them, but it's awesome because a lot of the runners will have their names on their bibs, and so we can say, hey Kyle, hey Marta, hey Lisa, and so that's fun.
Do you think it helps the runners to have this energy here at mile 8?
Oh my gosh.
Music and the divas and all the moves.
Totally, and you see people running without headphones. You don't need headphones in this area. You just like vibe off of the people's energy and the music and the divas. It's awesome.
Well, I know we've had this Britney Spears song for a while. I love it. We did it again.
It's so fun.
Yeah. Was that 30 or 3? Oh, I thought we were wrapping up. All right, we're still here. I'm just gonna dance for you guys. Now we're gonna wrap it up. I'll send it back to you.
Welcome back to the Bank of America Chicago Marathon, live on NBC Chicago. I'm live from Pilsen. I'm reporter Jorge Santiago. And let me step out of the way because Here in Pilsen, you're going to get the sights, the sounds, the emotions of the community. Take a look. This is not only the Mexican community, but there's 22 flags being represented, and that's being brought by the Latinos Biking for Your Dreams. Yep. What does this mean for you guys, Alex?
It's an amazing thing that we're trying to do, you know, welcoming every single Latin American runner, and just to accentuate the very fact that every human being has a great value, and that's what we're trying to communicate today.
Thank you so much, Alex. And you know what? It means so much more to Katie. Katie is a teacher and a principal at a local school here in Pilsen. What does this mean for you? What does it represent, and who are you here to support?
I'm supporting my twin sister. Megan Scully is running today.
Megan, so she can see you.
Yeah, right. So Megan's a resource teacher at Queen of Angels in the Lincoln Square neighborhood. She's running with the Big Shoulders Fund racing team. The Big Shoulders Fund is an incredible organization here in the city that supports inner city Catholic schools. So Megan has been fundraising for almost a year now, and all of the money that she's fundraised is going to be donated to my school, St. Anne's School, which is just a few blocks west of us here in Pilsen.
Money that is well needed in your school.
Yes, absolutely. We have the most dedicated families in the world, but a lot of them rely on financial support from donors in the city to keep their kids enrolled at St. Anne.
Katie, thank you so much. I'm reporter Jorge de Santiago, and these are live images from Pilsen. Now back to you guys.
All right, thanks so much, Jorge. We appreciate it. Now, we have already talked about how this race for wheelchair is the Paralympic trial. Now, we saw Tatiana McFadden. She's got that spot. We saw a little bit of a battle for seconds. Zoraida Sambalin is with the two women that will be representing the U.S. at the Paralympics coming up in Tokyo. Zoraida.
Isn't that a big deal and a great deal? So we do have now Tatiana and Susanna, Tatiana McFadden and Susanna Scaroni. Congratulations, ladies.
Thank you so much. It's an excellent day. I'm so excited for today because I went from 11th last year to 2nd today, and I'm so proud of my teammate and I. We are the first named to the Tokyo Paralympic team. So we're really, really excited to be officially going first named to the team for track and field. So we're beyond exciting. We have a lot to work on for next year, but we're so happy to secure this spot here in Chicago.
So I have to say, as I was talking to them ahead of time, Tatiana says we're coming back for 1 and 2 next year.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a strong American group throughout the entire race, and I think it's a good feeling about getting ready for the Tokyo Games, especially in the marathons. So I'm feeling so good today. Thanks for all the support.
And how was the field for you? How was it today?
You know, we had an incredible field at this race. Everybody who could happen to have was here. We made a pretty good gap off the start, and so we had a really strong group. About 4 of us for most of the race, and then we just worked as hard as we could to secure these slots today. So it was a good American showing today, especially being in Illinois, right down the road. We got to come up here and have a lot of local support for us. So it's been fantastic. We heard a lot of our names out there today, which is really fun.
I think U of I would be proud today, for sure.
Oh, I think we're all very proud. So Team USA here, congratulations, ladies. I always say that you come off and you're just like you haven't done a single thing. You look great.
Oh, thank you.
And super coherent in the conversation. So congratulations. Congratulations. All right, back to you guys.
Wow, U of I, a great showing there. That was a tough push for the second position. Scaroni came in right behind McCrory and took it. So she got those two ladies on their way first, as Tatiana McFadden just mentioned, first to be named for track and field as the Paralympic athletes for the U.S.
We're down to 4 in this men's race. Tura has gone, Ed, and it's getting more and more interesting, isn't it? Different guys going to the front and making the pushes.
Chirono right now, Boston Marathon winner, in the lead. We have 2 Kenyans, 2 Ethiopians battling it out. And Chirono, remember, he won Boston with a sprint finish when he outkicked an Ethiopian there. It'll be interesting to see how these 4 guys line up. We have guys in here with great track credentials, but you know what? Your speed at the end of a marathon sometimes is different than if you were just fresh on the track. And we'll see which one of these guys is able to have the best kick.
The biggest guy on the left there is Dejani Debella, the 24-year-old Ethiopian. He's really strong. He's a big fella. He comes here after having retained his Xiamen title in China. It's his first Abbott World Marathon Majors race, this, and he's making a great go of it. But Todd, I don't know if you can hear us out there, Todd Williams, how is it looking to you? Who's your money on? Are you getting any information from being so close to those guys?
You know, DeBella, it looks like he's been looking at his watch, and I mentioned it earlier, he's looking really strong, looking around. But Chirono, once he hit the lead, he's looking straight ahead and relaxed as well. So If I had to pick one right now, I'm going to go with the Boston Marathon champ Chirono to win this.
Okay, Todd. Well, I know you're not a betting man, and you only drink healthy drinks as well. So that was an interesting bit of theory. But DeBela here almost looks like he's chopping his stride. I mean, I think they're holding back here, Ed. Do you sense that there's nobody's really leaning into this, pushing hard?
Well, and again, they're positioning themselves for fluid here, and sometimes with just a couple, K to go, you'll just let this one go. It looks like two of the guys grabbed it. Well, all four actually are going to go for it here. One last little fuel stop, and look at this. Sometimes you can use a table like this as a break, and it looks like DeBela's got a little bit of distance as he's gone through that. If you can get your bottle smoothly, take a sip, and then chuck it off to the side, sometimes you can get a little bit of distance.
What about Mengstu, you guys? I mean, he did well at Dubai. 2:04.06 in Dubai, his personal best.
This is Mengstu's third marathon for the year. He third at Dubai, second in Paris. He certainly is talented. He's run 2:04. So, but again, as we have this angle looking down, looks like DeBela got a little bit of a gap as he went through those water tables.
Yeah, I'm really impressed with DeBela here. You know, he's a huge guy for a marathon run. Look at his left to picture, really solid legs. I mean, so different in build to your standard distance racer. And at 24, I mean, he's very much a growing talent. It's his 9th marathon, so he's got plenty of experience. He has a PR of 2:07, so if he were to continue at this tempo, he's going to run a personal best of about 2 minutes here. But it is coming on the back of 4 marathons last year from DeBela. He should be running on tired legs. Now, you know, he ran earlier on this year. He won Jamen back in January. So I guess you could say, Ed, despite 4 marathons last year and then a race in January, so 5 marathons in a 12-month period, he comes here actually without having to run a marathon in what, 9 months?
Well, that's true, but the fact of the matter is he's run 7 marathons. He's done a lot in China. Most of his marathons, though, have been in the 2:10 to 2:12 range. He does have the one outlier at 2:07. So this is a huge PR even over his 2:07 that he's run. And so obviously he's found something in his training to take him to a new level.
Do you know what? They have slowed 40K, 1:59.08. They're now on schedule for about 2:05.40. For the last hour, most of this second half of the race, they've been on schedule for something down around 2:05, just outside 2:05. So they have, in the last 20 minutes or so, lost about 30 seconds on the tempo they'd been maintaining for most of the race, which tells me the cat and mouse game has kicked in a little bit. You know, they're watching each other. Kuroki there did some pretty severe pushing 15-20 minutes ago. Now he's at the back of the group. They're just hanging in.
Yeah, with 2K to go, you're just kind of eyeing your other guys, and you're thinking, okay, am I going to have it today? Chirono, I like Chirono right now, just the fact that he had a great sprint finish at the end of Boston this year where he outkicked 2 other men for the big money. And Chirono, I think, is just running very competitive and then saying, okay, let's see how I feel once we make that turn.
3 of them side by side there. And that aerial shot was very revealing. It looked like they were really striding along. I mean, from the front you can't tell, but there, look, those 3 side by side, that looks more like a training run. They're not really hitting the pedal here. And Kuroki at the back of the group, just sizing them up. This is fascinating.
If I'm Kuroki, I like my position because I have the fastest track 10K of anybody. So I'm just going to let those 3 guys lead, and I'm going to sit there and use my track speed at the end. That is if his legs feel the same as they did when he was a great track runner.
Wow. Well, Chirono.
Now we're in this is the real race here, though. This is where any one of these guys.
And do you know what? You have to wonder.
Come out.
People talk about whether athletes are hungry or not. Now, Mengstu, I mean, he is established. He's 34 years old. He's run 2:04. That was in Dubai last year when he finished 4th. And then he was 3rd again in Dubai this year. And again in 2:04, a few seconds slower.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him in big World Marathon Majors races before. You know, he was 2nd in Paris earlier on this year. This is his 3rd marathon of 2019. So, having done Dubai in January, Paris in April, I was wondering, in my notes, I've scribbled, will he be tired? But he's not looking at the moment. And maybe, when he's not experienced this big-time atmosphere before in a World Marathon Major, Ed, that little bit of hunger could be the edge.
But remember, he went against Mola in Dubai, and they were kicking to the. I mean, he was hanging with him.
Well, and
very close.
There's plenty of incentive also when you take into account first place, $100,000. Fourth place, one of these guys is going to get fourth place, $30,000. Okay, $70K difference between first and fourth, and they're all going to probably finish within seconds of each other.
Okay, 2:02, nearly 2:03 on the clock, and we were looking at a winning time of around just inside 2:06. They've got about 2.5 minutes of running to go, and this is, look, you could throw a blanket literally over the four of them there. Is that Chirono just beginning to suffer?
Yeah, they're starting to dig a little bit now. Chirono's leaked off the back, but not too far. I mean, he's still within contact. I think any of these guys, DeBala's looking over and going, is this the move? Is this the move? Is this all you got? Chirono's covering that move, though, so, boy, it's anybody's game at this point.
Well, you know, in February last year, I was at the Rack Half Marathon in the United Arab Emirates when Karoki ran 58:42 to become the 6th fastest man in history at the half marathon. He beat Mo Farah in the World Half Marathon Championships 3 years ago in Cardiff behind Cam Waror. He is a great half marathon racer. He's got the track pedigree as well, and he's a growing force in marathon running. And Karoki, to me, looks like he's chopping his stride there. He's to the left of that pack as we look down on them from above. And I'm just wondering whether Karoki's got the legs, whether or not athletes, you know, like DeBala, the big fella out in front at the moment, has done his homework and he knows about the potential kick of Karoki. Is he going to try and drag it out of him over this next couple of minutes?
What's curious to me is DeBala keeps looking at his watch, almost as if like, hey, is that a fast split? Well, at this point in time, I would think you throw the watch out and you just worry about the guys around you. They've made that turn, so this is a last little push up the hill.
Up the hill.
We'll see who's the strongest man up the hill, and then who's going to have the big kick as they make the final turn.
Could this be a sprint to the finish of a marathon?
If four of them. They've only got about 400 to go now. They've taken that ride onto Roosevelt Road. This is only about 140 meters, something like that. Then they take that final left turn.
Mengstu gritting his teeth.
Yeah. They're coming.
It's the two Ethiopians ahead of the two Kenyans right now.
So, DeBala, Mengstu. Who's going to go first? Who's going to lose patience and kick away? And is it Karoki that we've lost from this group? It is Karoki at the moment.
Oh. Chirono, the Boston Marathon champion, on his head.
So, DeBala, the big fella in front, looks like he's straining in that chop.
And they're turning. They're on the turn. Columbus Drive.
The left-hand turn onto Columbus Drive, then South Columbus Drive, the finish line in sight. Karoki, the man with the track speed, is spent. He's going to be in 4th place. But as they drive towards the line, Chirono, the smaller of the trio, hits the front. DeBala in his slipstream. Mengstu behind him. But Chirono here isn't able to open a gap at the moment. This is mind over matter. This is will over those tiring legs. Who's going to get there? Chirono pushes for the line, drives for the line. It's not really a sprint. It's just the ultimate test of endurance as Chirono takes it. The 42nd champion at the Bank of America Chicago Marathon is a Kenyan in that little East African dust-up between Kenya and Ethiopia. And Lawrence Chirono, many people's nod for the win beforehand, who beat Lalisa Desisa, the world champion 10 days ago in Boston, becomes the Chicago champion as well. And USA for him, Ed, is a very, very happy hunting ground in 2019.
We saw that same sprint finish for Chirono at Boston. Once again, he is able to dig down into the depths of fatigue to duke it out with DeBala. DeBala finishes in 2nd place, Mengstu in 3rd, and Karoki, who we thought might have the biggest sprint finish, ends up with the worst sprint finish and ends up 4th.
Fascinating to see how he made his way through toward that push down Columbus Drive. That looks like when he took it over.
Well, he really did. There was a little bit of a jostling there because DeBala, the bigger guy, was there. He wanted to kind of horn in, and as they made that turn, he just dug down and was able to find that. Now, just a moment of thanks to his maker for a great sprint finish.
What does it? What does it at that moment? When you're making that turn, you're all so close. Is it experience? Is it just grit? Is it push?
And also,
clearly drinking in the moment. It's beautiful to see that.
But I also have to wonder, physically, you have nothing left at that point, right?
No,
they got to have something left.
They by the standards of big winners in this race for the past, for example, Mo Farah last year striding majestically to the win in a slightly quicker time. they were all absolutely spent when they took that last turn onto South Columbus. That wasn't really a sprint. That was
Things pushed them out.
hanging in there and surviving, really. And I think Toronto just survived a couple of yards better.
Sometimes it's a matter of fatiguing the least, and that's certainly what Toronto did.
It's like hanging from a beam and see who's the last to let go.
The grip strength. The grip strength at the end. And then here is Bridget Kosgei, all by herself.
And you know what? that was a beautiful men's finish. Every race director dreams.
Yes. You want that. You really do, right? You want to see that.
But this is the performance of the day. I mean,
yeah.
This young lady, we'll get an update on her splits as quickly as we can, but she had built up a cushion out of about 1 minute and 20 seconds. About 15 minutes ago?
Yes, and just courageous on her part. You know, it looked a little impetuous to begin with when we went out so fast for that first 5K, but then she was able to ratchet it back. I think she was able to control the pace setters a little bit more and start clicking off those 5-10 miles, 5-10 miles, 5-10 miles, get back on that pace. And she certainly is looking great now. Her pace setters have stepped off the course. 2:08.32. She was at 2:07.11 for 40K and still holding a 2:14.10 pace currently.
Wow.
She's able to hold on these last 2Ks.
Well,
we are witnessing history right here.
Absolutely.
The streets of Chicago.
Absolutely. And the irony is, of course, that the last world record here was set by Paula Radcliffe on the women's side. She then went on to run quicker in London in 2003 to run 2:15.25. And that world record for Paula Radcliffe, who is watching here just about 100 yards from this finish line, is living on very, very borrowed time, I'm afraid. Paula Radcliffe has been a quite astonishing queen of marathon running, but this is the new queen.
And also a tremendous discipline, because both of you were very concerned by how fast she started this race. I believe, Ed, you thought that it would cost her in the long run potentially.
Well, I was afraid that she might, but she did rein it back in after about that first 4 miles. And I think, and obviously she has showed a lot of grit and determination in doing that. I was nervous because her past history has been to finish very fast, a lot faster negative split than the first opening half, but she was able to show that she can run 2 different ways. She's not a one-trick pony. She is such a great talent, so ahead of the...
There's Mo Farah crossing the line now.
So ahead of anybody else out there right now. Great props to her. What an amazing athlete.
Yeah, right behind us here at the finish line in our booth, Mo Farah has just crossed the line, a couple of clicks inside 2 hours, 10 minutes. A bad day at the office for Mo. That is his worst run in a marathon in 6 attempts, I think now. So there will be, of course, a review of that for Mo, but a tough day for the Brit. But this from Bridget Kosgei. You know, there was a real sense of deja vu through that midsection of the race when she had the 2 pacemakers pounding along in front of her, because that's exactly the conditions that Paula Radcliffe enjoyed in London back in 2003 on a lovely sunny day in the English capital, when she had 2 Kenyan pacemakers all the way to the finish line for her. Well, it's interesting, isn't it, that her pacemakers have gone and she's having to make the effort, make her own pace head here all the way.
How hard is that? How hard is it to try to keep it going, to try to keep a pace like this going when you know you're fighting for that world record, when you don't have the pacers?
It's got to be incredibly hard, because actually, you know, we talked about how insane her pace was in the early miles, those first 4 or 5 miles. So this has not been an optimal way of getting to this point in the race and breaking a world record. She's actually had variations in her tempo which don't make sense. So there is more in the tank. This young lady, if she's going to run under 2:15 here, which I think she probably is, break the world record by something like a minute, there is more to come. That is frightening.
That is amazing, and it's almost despite what you guys have seen her do. It's not the race any of you would have planned, but she's doing her own thing. I like how you said that, Ed. She's not a one-trick pony. Here is Diego Estrada, one of the American runners, coming in. We haven't seen Galen Rupp. I don't know what's happened with him.
Well, Mo Farah's time apparently in 8th place, 2:09.58, so he has at least able to nail that 2:10 barrier, but not what he's been training for all these many months.
Have we had our first
monastic
American
lifestyle?
There's
Diego Estrada, sub 2:12 for Diego Estrada. We have had a number of Americans come through, I believe. We'll have to wait for those results to come through.
That's a PR by about 2 minutes for Diego Estrada.
That's a nice effort. I think he'll be happy with that, sub 2:12 for Diego.
But
the other remarkable thing about this, the concern we had about the win today, and again, you guys mentioned it earlier, you didn't think it'd be that big of a deal.
I don't think it's been as strong as we thought it might be either.
It's really hard to tell from here, but actually, she is such a tiny, tiny character. The wind misses her. You know? There's not a great deal.
Sidesteps it.
All right, she's making that turn onto Roosevelt, I believe. Is this it? Yes, she has made the turn onto Roosevelt. She is coming in strong. This is the tough hill, but she's way ahead of where she needs to be.
Well, this was on the cards. Right? You know, when she ran the half marathon in the UK 5 weeks ago that we call the Great North Run up in the northeast, it's the biggest half marathon in the world. It's a slightly downhill course, but it's a very tough course. She ran 64:28. She won by over 3 minutes. It's the fastest ever half marathon by a woman by a pretty big chunk under any conditions. So this was kind of predictable, but I didn't know it was going to unfold in quite such spectacular fashion.
We knew it was coming. We did not know that it would be by a minute.
Wow.
Paula Radcliffe, 2:15:25 in London back on the 13th of April 2003. That's a world record to survive for 16 and a half years.
Here she comes.
It has about 30 seconds to go. Here she comes. Bridget Kosgei, the defending champion, will retain her title. She won last year in 2:18:35. That, it turns out, was just a warm-up for this. It made her the third fastest woman in history. Well, she's going to leapfrog the two ahead of her with this performance. Tirunesh Dibaba, and more importantly, Paula Radcliffe, the world record holder, for another few seconds as she comes to the line to smash the world record here. Watch the clock. 50 meters to go, 30 meters to go. The line reads her there, 2:14:03.
Wow. Congratulations.
Amazing. 1 minute, 22 seconds unofficially off the world record. A new era opens up here with the feat of this young lady today. Bridget Kosgei, at the age of 25, can undoubtedly go quicker. She's been unbeaten in 6 races, now 7 races. She won Peachtree 10K back on the 4th of July. Who doesn't know about that massive 10K?
Harry Pinkowski's very happy right now. First one to give her a hug. He gets a world record at the Bank of America Chicago Marathon on his 30th anniversary. You gotta love that. Paula Radcliffe down there at the finish as well. She got a chance to witness the woman who would take her record. What an achievement.
I mean, that is, I'll tell you what, that reminds me of Eliud Kipchoge last year in Berlin, where he just smashed the world record by over a minute, and she's just done the same thing.
There's our mayor, Lori Lightfoot.
Courageous run on her part. She knew it was a special day. She went out, she got after it early on, maybe a little too aggressively, but turned out she broke the world record by over a minute. Phenomenal performance. What a talent. We're going to see her run faster than that in the future, I would think.
Wow. Because she doesn't look like it took much out of her. Look at her. She's not even breathing hard.
Bragging rights to the Kenyans, you know, a brace of victories. I mean, Toronto in that men's race in just outside 2:05.
Here we see Paula Radcliffe right now with Bridget Kosgei. The mayor, Lori Lightfoot, with her daughter.
She held the record.
Explaining the significance of Paula Radcliffe, whose record held for many years, 16 years.
In London.
And I'll tell you what, Paula Radcliffe, I think just giving a bit of coaching to Bridget Kosgei, she's got to behave more like a world record holder now. Needs a little bit of coaching.
Some swagger.
And you know, Paula's been a great ambassador. She's an amazing woman, such an important part of the sport. And to see this moment where she's passed the torch,
the two fastest
women ever.
Well, and what's amazing is Paula's record at 2:15:25. No one had really even come close to that. I mean, 2:17:01 by Mary Keitany was the next quickest, right? So she had this huge 2-minute cushion, and then for Bridget Kosgei just to lower that by over another minute.
Well, that's
amazing.
That shows her
quality athlete that she is.
Yes.
That's a personal best for Kosgei by 4 minutes and 16 seconds. I'm talking the official winning time, 2:14:04. A 4-minute PR. That's the fat end of a mile. I mean, it's insane.
And that was earlier this year.
Yeah.
25 years old. She's got a few years left too, right?
In a couple months.
What a day. What a day.
You know, and when you think she won London back in April with a 66:42 second half, I mean,
less than 6 months, she took 4 minutes off her PR.
Exactly. And you know, she was number 7 all time. She's rocketed up to.
Now, I wouldn't say I'm into numerology, but this is a little weird tidbit. Okay, the world record was set on April 13th. The course record here was set on October 13th, and the new world record and the new course record set October 13th.
Somebody's got a lucky number 13.
Yeah, seriously.
Well, and she was only 5 seconds off of running to 13.
There you go.
You know, you start getting. You can extrapolate so many weird conversations from this. People start going, so how many men in the world this year will run faster than 2:14.04? How many American men? How many British men can break 2:14? It is frightening. This absolutely ushers in a new era to women's marathon running because she's gone through and broken this barrier of 2:15, nearly 2:14. More and more women will think, hey, 2:17, 2:16, eminently achievable. You know, that's the way the psychology works. It's like the first 4-minute mile. As soon as Roger Bannister broke it, about 2 months later, an Aussie guy ran 2 seconds quicker. And then more and more guys over the following few years. They smashed 4 minutes. Everybody thought it was impossible for many, many years before Bannister did it.
There you go. And here's Emma Bates. Emma Bates looking good. How's she looking there, guys? Can't tell exactly where she is.
She's in 4th place right now. I've been told 4th place, so she's doing great. I'm sure she was excited to be here. We knew she was fit coming in here. She's a 12-time All-American at Boise State. She loves the state of Idaho. In fact, she was telling people at the press conference that Idahoans lie about Idaho, so that people will stop moving there. But yeah, she was very well prepared. She debuted in Sacramento Marathon in 2018, ran 2:28.19. And she's on about 2:25 pace right now.
She'll be our first American finisher.
But you know what I love about her? This is only her 2nd marathon, Emma Bates, and she said, I was reading this morning, she said that she drank too much in her first marathon. She had real problems keeping it down, so we all know what that means. Yeah. And she actually said, I know I can go a lot faster because I had such problems with my liquids in my first marathon attempt. And this is it, the unfolding of it. She's on schedule to run around 2:25, which, Ed, would be a personal best of around 3.5 minutes.
About 3 minutes, yes. Great time for her. She's coming off a win at the 25K U.S. Championships back in May. So 2:25.30, nice 3-minute PR for her if she can keep it up.
And she's getting married next weekend. This will be a nice way to enter married life, won't it? With an American win at the
This appears to be our 2nd place runner right here.
This is Ababel Yeshane, a late addition to the field. She's a 2:24 performer. That was in Tokyo earlier on this year when she finished in 6th place. But she has she had a national record for Ethiopia in the half marathon. She's a 65-minute half marathon runner. So she is one of the top 6 or 8 runners in the world. And look how far she is behind the winner, Kosgei.
She's going to run 2 hours and 20 minutes and change, which is a great time. But just
and there's a big chase going on behind. I don't think she's going to get there. But who has that back in 3rd place?
That's Jaleti Burka, I believe. Jaleti Burka, the Ethiopian, closing hard.
So that's about 2:20.52.
2:20.52 for 2nd place.
And Burka there, only a couple of seconds back as well.
Sub 2:21 for Burka.
So Kosgei has won by almost 7 minutes.
Oh. Unbelievable.
And yet the 2nd place ran 2:20, which is
that's
special.
A good time. Yeah, that's a solid time.
You run out of superlatives for these sort of achievements.
You really do.
You know, this has been an astonishing few weeks. You know, 3 weeks ago in Berlin, Kenenisa Bekele, who everybody thought was dead and buried. He'd had an astonishing career on the track and the roads, but everybody thought he was dead and buried, and he missed the world record in the marathon by 2 seconds. Right. Then we had the World Championships in Doha, and there was actually a world half marathon record about 5 weeks ago as well by Jeffrey Camwell-Raw.
Yeah.
We've had a world record here today in the women's marathon.
Are we in a new era? Are we in a new era?
You know, it's technology, it's focus, it's great coaching of these African athletes.
The shoes.
It's
I didn't want to go there, Ed, but you have it.
We said it first. It's the shoes.
I'm just saying the shoes are not hurting things, okay? In terms of
that's a nice way of putting it. They're not doing any harm. actually,
as long as we can all run in the same
If everybody's wearing that, the same technology is available for everyone, right?
Well, Emma Bates won the US 25K title back in May and came into this really confident that she could run a big PR. Her 2:28.19 was in December last year in Sacramento when she took the US Championship in the marathon, 2:28.19, and she's going to be some minutes quicker than that. Interesting, Ed, too, isn't it, that she's on her own? You know, she's having to do the work here. It's not like she's got a group of men around her dragging her along.
Yeah, the problem at this point is if you're running along and you're one of the lead women, then the men that you're coming across are probably very, very good men themselves, but usually in the fatiguing process, they're elites themselves that are fatiguing, so you really have no one to run with. And again, she has a metronome-like cadence that is going just well.
She looks pretty solid. She doesn't look like she's hurting.
No. She's tanking along. She's moving so well. Look at the way in which she went past that guy just now. He's going to run in the mid-220s.
Yes.
She has stormed past him. She's enjoying this. I mean, she's got to be hurting, but she knows she's running to a fabulous performance. And Ed, you must have been there. This must be a really beautiful moment in your head in a marathon. You're suffering that pain that you've trained for many, many months, but you know that just a couple of minutes away is that reward, that dangling great carrot of a brilliant performance.
Well, you realize that all that preparation has been worth it. And you also, sometimes you see people all the time getting very emotional at the finish line because of all the work that's gone in, but also all the positive enablers that have allowed them, that have sacrificed themselves for you to have that position. I think that's a lot of the emotion that you see in the marathon as well.
And we're talking about the Olympics too coming up. Could she be one of our Olympians?
Oh yeah, absolutely. This will set her up very well going into our Olympic trials on February 29th.
2:24 just clicked by, 2:24.10 now. And she's about to take that left turn onto South Columbus Drive. So she is going to run under 2:25. She doesn't look too bothered about the time. She knows she's having a great day.
She's great. Almost smiling.
Right.
And this could well be the 4th fastest time in Chicago history by a US athlete. And Ed, do you reckon she is going flat out here? You've been there. You're a 2:11 marathon runner?
Well, I think she is so new at this event that she's still kind of figuring it out. Again, she was an NCAA 10K champ back in 2014. She broke 2:30 in the marathon in her debut at the CIM Sacramento Marathon back in December 18. And I think that 25K championship that she won for the U.S. in May gave her a great big boost of confidence. And here she comes. She's going to be very ecstatic with her time today. Emma Bates.
Emma Bates in 4th place then. Coming to the line, it's been an astonishing run from Emma Bates. And what a performance from her, just missing the rostrum, but she comes here with a personal best of 2:28.19. She leaves with a personal best of 2:25.27 unofficially. That puts her in a different class. When you're down in the 2:25s, people really sit up and take note.
And only her 2nd marathon.
In her 2nd marathon.
In her 2nd.
And to be really mercenary about it, that pumps your price up a bit around the circuit. All of a sudden, race directors are getting on the phone to your agent. So that's lovely. That's a huge step forward in her career.
Yes, and
she has earned it.
She's suddenly one of those favorites going into the Olympic trials as well.
All right, let's check in with Alex Maragos. He has a talk with our new champion here at the Bank of America Chicago Marathon, Lawrence Chirono. Alex.
Hey, Marion. Yeah, Lawrence Chirono with us. Lawrence, you had to sprint at the finish of Boston and then sprint to win in Chicago. What was that like?
Let me say that the race was very competitive since the beginning. We had strong base backers, although one dropped on the way, but another one, it took us until 30 kilometers. After that, we had to struggle for our own all the way from 30 kilometers to 40 kilometers, where the race was no man's race.
Yeah.
So I decided to focus on the remaining kilometer, which I was thinking that maybe everybody can go and win the race. But all of a sudden, when we reached at 41 kilometers, I saw like people they are not going again. So I decided to kick, and I felt like I'm still having enough energy to sprint. So I decided my luck, and it worked.
It's amazing. Now, you just saw Bridget Kosgei break the world record, and you just gave her a hug, and you talked to her back here for a minute. What did you say to Bridget?
Bridget, I was just congratulating her, because to break a world record is not something easy. It's a great achievement to someone who broke a world record, and she deserves to be congratulated. Yes. I think to me, I am happy winning this my second major marathon. It is so grateful to me, and I'm saying thank you for the Chicago marathon organizers because they organize a very nice course. Fans were very cheerful all the way, and I appreciate all of them.
Lawrence Chirona, the winner of this year's 2019 Bank of America Chicago Marathon. Thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you.
He's won 8 in his last 15 coming into today. We'll have more from the Bank of America Chicago Marathon right after this.